I listened to one of the Paisley Perform podcasts today with Tim Pillow, who works for the U.S. Olympic Committee as a senior physiologist. And one of the things that he said during the conversation was that it doesn't matter, or basically, if you have the worst possible program, but you perform it with great intensity, great energy, great passion, etc., you're going to get better results than if you have the best possible program and then but perform it, without a lot of energy or passion or intensity. And obviously, he was talking about the weight room, but the same thing goes on the court. My friend Clay Callum and I always used to talk about it doesn't matter what system that you run with your team, as long as your team believes in that system. And I still believe that 100%. It's more important to get your players to buy into what you're doing than it is to run something fancy or new or special or whatever the case may be. But the problem with this is that oftentimes probably, we associate the success not with the effort or the passion or the intensity, but with the system. So you get a team running a system or doing certain types of practices. Lots of areas can fall into this, and they're very successful. And so we attribute that success to the triangle offense or the flex offense or this type of practicing or doing shoot arounds or not doing shoot arounds or whatever a team is getting credit for doing or not doing, whatever the latest fad is. And so now everybody says, oh, well, we need to copy them. But what we're not concentrating on is, the passion, the effort, the intensity. And really, these are the things that are probably making the most difference. If you took the Golden State Warriors, people talk about the small ball and how they win because they play small or they win because they shoot a lot of threes. It very easily could be they win because they play hard, they play great defense, they play together, they play for each other, they pass the ball, and it probably wouldn't matter whether they played fast or slow, whether they played big or small. They would still be successful. They might not have outrageous success like some of their games, where they're making 23s or going on 25-2 runs or something like this. That may be a product simply of the small ball lineup or the 3-point shooting or something like that. I don't know. But my guess is, just from reading articles about the team and the environment that Kerr and Walton have created, the players, the intensity of somebody like Draymond Green, I suspect that Kerr could come in next season and say, we're going to run the triangle, or we're going to run this, we're going to play slower. And they would still have the same type of success because they're all playing for each other. They're playing hard. They don't take plays off. It's the intensity, it's the effort, it's the passion, more so than necessarily the system. And so, I have my offensive philosophies, my defensive philosophies, things that I like, things that I prefer to watch, and so forth. But at the end of the day, I think these are less important than the buy-in from the players, the belief in the players, and then obviously the effort, passion, execution that you derive from the players. So if you only concentrate on what a team's doing, from a system standpoint, or if you're looking at it from, looking in the weight room, from a programming standpoint, you might be missing the most important parts of their success, and potentially making incorrect attributions for their success. So rather than trying to copy the next greatest play or copy, the next greatest, strength program, or take something off the internet that worked for one guy one time, we probably want to look at, what's the environment created and what are all the small things. I know Marco Cardinale and somebody else, I forget his name, that worked with the Great Britain Olympics. They talk about the 1% improvements, things of this nature. So what are all the things that are going to the success of a team like the Warriors or UConn women basketball, or some of the great successful teams that are out there? A good book to read is, I think it's called The Legacy by, I forget the author, but it's about the All Blacks. It talks about the keys to their success, and I think there's 12 or 13 kind of axioms that they use. So again, it's not just the system of play, but there's a great deal that goes into their success to be the best in the world. And if you only looked at one thing or took the one thing that they changed this year, you might miss all the different things that go into their success.